WZR Radio starts now. You can call into the show at 724-444-7444 using call ID 30273#.
I'm coming up for air so I can check myself again, and I stand proven to the man but sheltered. Confidence
Now, here's your hosts, Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to the, what's today, February 17th edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com and a host of other websites. I'm, as always, your host, Ryan Clark. I got Jose Rivera with me for the next 2 hours. We're going to be talking pro wrestling, WWE, TNA, the No Way Out pay-per-view from Sunday night, Monday Night Raw from last night as well, and lots of other stuff. But before we get to all of that, as always, welcome in from Stamford, Connecticut, Jose Rivera. What's up, buddy?
Yo. What's good?
What's good? What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Hiding away from that deadly monkey that's been roaming around.
Right? You know what? I just read something. What's wrong with your phone, man? You sounded absolutely terrible on that phone. It's real staticky.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm on my cell phone tonight. House phone. It's pretty much the battery's dying. So unfortunately, I'm on this phone, and I apologize if the noise is a little. You can't really understand me.
No, you're okay now, man. I think it may have been just. I mean, you said you're on a cell phone, so you may have just been in a bad spot. It sounds better now, but it was brutal there for a second. But you're good now, I think. Right?
Well, I'm standing on the roof now, so it's kind of cold outside.
Yeah, stay outside, baby. Stay outside in the cold for the next 2 hours, no doubt. Hey, we got a lot of stuff going on tonight. Like I said, we had No Way Out on Sunday. We had Raw last night. We had Christian. Christian made his return to ECW last week, right after we went off the air, about a minute after WZR Radio went off the air last week, so we're going to talk about that. A lot of other big news. WrestleMania, the WrestleMania card, it's starting to take shape, and we've got some rumored matches. I actually put those up on the website earlier today, WZROnline.com, so you guys can go over there and check that out. We've got the full card up there, or the full rumored card as it stands right now. Looks like a good WrestleMania, man. But we'll talk about that. We're gonna take your live phone calls as well. I'll give out the live phone number right now. We take calls in the order that they are received. So call up now. You'll be put inside a queue, and we'll get to you later, probably in hour number 2. 724-444-7444. Call ID number is 30273, followed by the pound key. We got the live chat room as well, WZROnline.com/chat. Lots of people in there tonight as well. We're taking care of a spammer. I think we got him. I think he's going now, so that's good. So WZROnline.com/chat. Tons of people will do chat shout-outs here in just a little bit. Like I said, the official website of WZR Radio is WZROnline.com. No TNA Impact tapings this week. They did 2 weeks' worth of Impact last week, so we're good for this week. Next Monday and Tuesday, they'll be doing another set of tapings. But we do have a double SmackDown and ECW TV taping tonight. Spoilers will be up on the website after we go off the air. I'll probably be able to give you guys some of the results of at least this week's show before we go off the air here tonight. And that's about it, Jose. Anything else, man? I think I covered it all. We don't have we don't have a lot of time to bullshit. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to talk about.
Exactly. I mean, with the pay-per-view, with Monday Night Raw, WrestleMania around the corner. Let's just go right to it.
I say it too, man. I mean, it was a boring weekend over here, dude. I didn't do nothing, They're stuck in snow here tomorrow. I think you guys will probably get that too down in Stanford, but I think it's snow and sleet and freezing rain and all that crap. So that's about it up here, man. Nothing, nothing's new.
Nothing spectacular. Just the feedback that's going on right now for the pay-per-view and of course on Monday Night Raw. So that's kind of the biggest thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. Did you see No Way Out from Sunday night?
Absolutely. It was actually an interesting event. A lot of changes going on and a lot of quietness with those changes. Of course, the opening bout was a switch because I wasn't expecting that. And they did an awesome job. I mean, the whole event was I was glued to my TV set.
Dude, I can honestly say that was one of the best WWE pay-per-views that I've seen in a long, long, long time. I mean, over the past few months, you order these pay-per-views. I mean, the Royal Rumble, that was a good pay-per-view, but No Way Out. And you got to remember, this is a pay-per-view that is usually looked at as just kind of like a throwaway show, because it's your pay-per-view before WrestleMania. And, I mean, they brought the Elimination Chamber back here in the last couple of years to turn it into something. But, I mean, Sunday night's pay-per-view, they switched a lot of stuff at the last minute going into WrestleMania. Because usually you got your storylines, by this point, you've got your main storylines and what that you're going to do, you know what I mean? Your main matches. And they changed some major stuff at this pay-per-view. But overall, man, I mean, school letter grade, A, from me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I think what's happening here, once the WWE stopped doing New Year's Revolution, what they simply done is throwing in the Elimination Chamber into No Way Out, which I'm sure, we're going to continue seeing it every single year now moving forward. And what it simply does is, you have the Royal Rumble, which is, one of the big fives. Then you have NWO now, which kind of just really leads into the granddaddy of them all, which, of course, is WrestleMania. So I think in the last 2 years, WWE Creative have decided to kind of mature a little bit on how the storylines will develop and how they will develop, leading towards WrestleMania. So I think personally the event itself, again, it was unpredictable. I didn't expect Edge to come out. I didn't expect, let alone him to lose the title. Well, I kind of thought he was going to lose the title, but let alone win another one. So I think in that respect, you got the JBL and HBK. I mean, we'll run down the show, of course, in a few minutes, but there are some obviously kind of, you got to know what's going to really happen. But if you really focus your attention on the event is really promoted and marketed heavily on the two Elimination Chambers, and they were unpredictable.
Well, when's WrestleMania? April 5th, right?
April 5th, yep.
All right, April 5th. So from Sunday, you have what, about 6 weeks, right? About a 6-week build-up where you can really, really sell these main event matches. And, yeah, that's enough time. That's enough. I thought it was shorter than that. I thought it was about 4 weeks before.
Yeah, we're looking at 7 weeks from this past Sunday to WrestleMania.
All right, 7 weeks. Yeah, so that's enough time. That's enough time to do some big switches like they did at No Way Out, and then build to your matches at WrestleMania. WrestleMania, I don't know if you read the reports that I posted on the website earlier today, but it's shaping up to be all right, man. Some really good matches. I mean, we'll run it down here in just a little bit. I know we're going to do No Way Out. Let's talk about No Way Out. We, like you said, we opened up with the WWE title match inside the Elimination Chamber. We had Edge, The Undertaker, Big Show, Vladimir Kozlov, Triple H, and Jeff Hardy as the participants in that match. This was my pick for match of the night. And it was shocking to see guys like especially The Undertaker and Triple H, to see both of them in a curtain jerker, you know what I mean, in the opening match of a pay-per-view. I know that they only had 5 matches on this pay-per-view, but it was so weird to see them at at the very beginning of the pay-per-view in the first match. To see The Undertaker, I mean, I think he was the first guy that came out. Yeah,
and that's what threw me off when I heard his gong, and I said to myself, wait a minute, oh man, we're going to have this match now.
But you know what? You can't. I see the philosophy behind it, because you can't do back-to-back elimination chambers. So it made sense to put one on at the beginning of the show, one on at the end of the show. Back-to-back elimination chambers would absolutely kill the crowd. You know.
And it was smart. It was a smart way to book the event, because you have the WWE Championship, which obviously we know the storyline on what developed there, but more importantly, you had the other fillers. Not saying Randy Orton and Shane McMahon was a filler, and Swagger and Finley, I think, is kind of was, and the same thing with JBL and Shawn Michaels. And so you get a chance to kind of digest the first match and enjoy what just happened, enjoy the rest of the event, and then you cap it off with with dessert, which is the World Championship title.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. But the thing, I just would have liked to seen the matches reversed. You know what I mean? Because I thought the SmackDown match was better than the main event with Raw. But then you saw why they did it with Edge coming out and entering in the second elimination chamber. So I saw why they did it. But I mean, as far as the match itself, I would have liked to seen the SmackDown chamber and the pay-per-view, but obviously because of the Edge angle, they couldn't have done that. So what do we have here? We had Edge and Hardy in the ring, and Hardy got a pinfall. Edge went and attempted a spear, and I believe Jeff Hardy countered it into a twist of fate, and they got the pinfall. So you knew right there and then that Edge was not going to be the WWE champion. It was going to be a new champion at the end of the night. And then the match itself came down to Triple H and The Undertaker, and they went at it for, a good 15 minutes, right? 15, 20 minutes. I mean, that match went almost 50 minutes, almost an hour, I believe, to start off the pay-per-view. And Triple H, The Undertaker, I mean, guys that, it's well documented, guys that have had a past. Guys that have had a past history as far as politics are concerned. Do you hear my dog? Do you hear him in the background, Jose?
Actually, I don't.
Dude, I could slap him right in the face, man, but I'm not. No animal cruelty over here, man. But every freaking time, dude, he's cool during the day, man. Everything's cool during the day. 7 o'clock hits, and he's got to come in the room and just.
He wants to be on the show. He wants to be on the official show, the #1 show on TalkShoe.com, by the way.
I'll get him on the show, man. I'll get him on the show and slap him in the face. That's gonna be his debut. Not to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Are you gonna job him?
Yeah, right. All right. So No Way Out. So it came down to Triple H and The Undertaker. They both hit their finishing moves a couple times, I believe, and both kicked out. Undertaker hit the tombstone pile driver. Triple H got his leg on the rope, and eventually hit the pedigree and got the victory. So we have a new WWE champion in Triple H. Like I said, great match. Great work from everybody involved. They got Kozlov out of there pretty early. He was kind of the weak link in there. Same with the world title match with Mike Knox. They got Kofi Kingston. Not that Kofi Kingston would have been bad, but Mike Knox, they got out of there fairly quick. So, yeah, thank God. So overall, great opening match. I mean, you agree with that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you have those caliber superstars starting off your show, and you're still left with the other elimination chamber, you're just telling yourself, well, okay, let's see if the boys from Raw can cap that off. And I think they did. I personally think that it was a smart booking on putting this one first, knowing the fact, obviously, we know the storyline development, but I tend to lean over to the World Championship. I kind of felt that one was a little bit better, especially with Jericho and Mysterio.
I'm trying to think back, man. It was a couple years ago. I saw an Elimination Chamber match here up in Albany, New York. All right, and I went there, and Edge came out. After the match was over, there was a winner, okay? And Edge came out and cashed in his Money in the Bank ladder, Money in the Bank ladder match, the opportunity that he got for a title, and he cashed it in at that event here in Albany. So, I mean, No Way Out, I believe it was No Way Out, the same pay-per-view that I attended, where they had the Elimination Chamber. So this is his pay-per-view. This is kind of where he goes out and surprises people, you know what I mean? I mean, last night or Sunday night, he came out, lost the first chamber, you thought he was done, and then came out and wound up winning the second chamber, and then at No Way Out just a couple of years ago, he came out and cashed in his Money in the Bank ladder match or title match opportunity.
Yeah, and you're right, because I remember when they lifted up the Eliminator Chamber, and that's when, everyone thought the show was over, and his music started hitting, and
Vince McMahon came. I think Vince McMahon came out and said something like, nobody leave, this isn't over," and then Edge's music came out, and he ran down and cashed it in and hit the spear on somebody. I can't remember who it was, man. Hit the spear on somebody and won the title. So this is his pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Seems like it.
It seems the way they're booking him, that's for sure, and he's always picking the right timing. Then again, he's going out with the lovely GM, Vicky, which I kind of figured, and they're smart, and I think this is where I think we said something about 2 weeks ago about the holes that are left in their storylines, and I think they're realizing that, and I think they're challenging themselves a lot more, or there's someone else that's going into the creative process and kind of helping to fill those holes, because last night, obviously, she came out, and I kind of had a feeling when they said, Shane is going to the hospital. Well, I said, all right, if Shane's going to the hospital, that means Stephanie's going to go to the hospital, which only means Vicky's now the person, quote, in charge, unquote. And they were smart enough to mention that last night on Raw.
Yeah, just to acknowledge small things like that, and it flows. It makes for a much better flow throughout the show when storyline angles actually make sense and there's actual thought going into the process. Yeah, and you can clearly see that. It always happens. Going into WrestleMania every year, they really increase the quality of their TV. Obviously, it's going to happen anyways because you're building to your biggest matches of the year.
I'm feeling good, and working with you is extremely comfortable, and more importantly, the fans out there, getting to hearing their feedback and enjoying the show and just conversating and stuff like that. Just it feels good.
No doubt. Speaking of the fans, we got tons of fans right now in our live chat room. It is at WZROnline.com /chat. Of course, as soon as I say that, my chat room just locked up on me. So we'll get back in here, but nonetheless, WZROnline.com /chat. Get in there. We've got tons of people in there right now. The live phone number to call. We'll take phone calls in hour number 2, 724-444-7444. Call ID number 30273 when the lady asks for it, and then followed up with the pound key if you guys want to call up live. So No Way Out, back to No Way Out. Randy Orton, Shane McMahon. Yeah, overall really, really good match. Shane did a couple major spots. He's coast to coast. At the end, Orton wound up getting the pin. You knew that was going to happen. Randy Orton, they are pushing this guy to the moon as of late, and it wouldn't make sense for Shane to go over clean there. So they had Orton go over clean, got the 1, 2, 3, and that was that. Then our next match was, you want to talk? Yeah, Jose was talking about fillers, right? Filler matches just a couple minutes ago. This was exactly that. Jack Swagger versus Fit Finlay. And the thing is, man, Christian debuted last week on ECW, and I thought, the guy's hot right now. He just came into the company, and I thought, all right, it's post-pay-per-view. You got some sort of run-in, something.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Didn't happen.
This is the reason why I thought it's not going to happen. You think about it. We didn't see two people that have that. Well, one is in a major storyline, and the other one is just returning back. Of course, Christian returning back to ECW, and then Matt Hardy. No word, no existence whatsoever. And if you look at the entire show's booking, it all has to do with Edge winning the title, losing and winning. And I think they wanted to completely focus their attention to that. They didn't want anything else to distract that specific booking. That's the only thing that I can come up with, which is the only reason why we didn't see Christian or Matt Hardy at No Way Out.
Matt Hardy. Yeah, that's another one too. I didn't even think about that. That's true. That's true. Put the focus on Edge throughout the entire
I mean,
thing.
it's because if you bring Christian, people are going to start getting a little confused and saying, "Oh, Christian is back." And even though everyone in the world knows that, or at least most everyone in the world knows that Christian is back, because the promos that are going on Monday Night Raw. But I just really think in the booking aspect, they didn't. And again, that's the reason why. Remember, we discussed which McMahon is going to turn, and I still think none of them will. Because again, they're the way they try to book the angles is they don't want to lose attention to something else. And I think bringing Christian or Matt Hardy into this development right now, it kind of just throw things a little bit off, have people start thinking a little bit more, start predicting a little bit more, and they want it to be unpredictable, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no doubt. And where'd we leave off? I got lost.
We can be done with Flair and Philly and move on with JBL and Shawn Michaels.
Can't do me like that, man. I got sidetracked. I was looking at the chat. I was debating whether I was going to do chat shout-outs or what. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Get out of here. You call me on it. I heard the laugh, dude. I heard the sly little laugh. Like, oh, I see how it is.
I got you. I told you. I got you.
All right. For Shawn Michaels versus JBL. That was our next match. They've been doing this story. Actually, to be honest with you, during this match, I didn't expect Shawn Michaels to get the clean pinfall here. I expected Shawn versus JBL at Mania, to be honest with you. But I mean, they put an end to that fairly quickly, and there's a reason why, because it looks like they're going to do Shawn versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania, which is a mega match for sure. I mean, two veteran stars, guys that have been, I mean, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, that's a match that would sell. You know what I mean? That's something that even the casual fan looks at as, wow, they're doing Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's cool. You know what I mean?
It has that atmosphere in the air. I mean, Undertaker debuting in early 80s, early 80s. Then you have Shawn Michaels coming in from the AWA with the Midnight Rockers, and then, of course, doing the Rockers gimmick with Marty Jannetty, turning Sherry Martel. I mean, if you look at the history of both of those.
I don't know. I mean, on the mic, the guy on the mic is horrible. The guy in the ring is horrible. Mike,
and it's all McMahon. I mean, that's McMahon putting a big guy over. I mean, that's pretty much, he wants a monster heel to come out there, and right now it's just not happening. It's just not. No, the fans are not taking to him. The fans didn't take to Snitsky. It's just you put some, guy with beer and dirty looking and say, oh, you know what, beat up the small guys. Yeah, that's original.
It's like
does that remind you of that?
It's like Trevor Murdoch, right? Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox and Gene Snitsky. You just brought up. It's guys like that with that ugly look, the acne all over the back. It's just. Ugh.
And I can see that, and I can see why Vince wants to put out there and put a man of that caliber in the ring, but I just would have rather saw someone else that's a little bit more deserving in the World Championship. But hey, he wanted, you got Jericho, technical wrestler. You have Mysterio, Lucha Libre, Edge, which is a technical and wrestler. And then you got two big guys, Kane and Knox. So I can see the reason why Knox was part of this, because Kane would have been the only big guy that's in the ring, and he was the first one eliminated, I believe. And then you have Cena, which Cena's Cena.
Yeah, and then I mean, like you said, Kane is just Kane and Mike Knox. I mean, that's two big guys in the match. Like you said, somebody a little bit more deserving. Like I'm trying to think of a name. Somebody on Raw that would just be more deserving than my, I don't know, but throw Santino in there. Where's Santino been over the last few weeks? I mean, you haven't seen much of him on the mic. He's just accompanied Beth Phoenix out to the ring, a few times, but you haven't seen him in the ring. Not much mic work over the last few weeks. I just think I don't know. They want to try. I guess they want to try this Mike Knox guy out. You know, I mean, they've tried him once on ECW. It didn't work. Bring him over to Raw. Try him here. See if it works here. I don't know. What it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Mike Knox. I mean, I know he's been released before, and then they brought him right back and gave him the role that he's in now. So it'll be interesting over the next few months to see if he continues to be featured on weekly Raw telecasts. Now that his storyline with Rey Mysterio appears to be dwindling down at this point, they've overdone that in the.
I honestly think I don't see a future unfortunately for Mike Knox. I mean, it's. You know, the only other thing that I can think of is switching back to ECW, and that's just really far-fetched because obviously, you know, and we'll talk about ECW in a bit, featuring fresh new stars coming into the organization and putting Mike Knox back in. I'm not feeling Mike Knox.
Yeah, I don't feel him at all, man. I'm right there with you on my stance or on our stance with that. So that was the No Way Out pay-per-view from Sunday night. Like me and Jose said, overall a really good show. I gave it an A. I think Jose agrees with me. A, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
yep.
No doubt. So that was No Way Out. Ran that down in about 30 minutes. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw here, and then we're gonna get to a little bit of news and rumors, and then we're gonna take your live phone calls here in hour number 2. We're doing good, man. I wanted to get through No Way Out, wanted to get through Raw before we went to the hourly break and then come back, because I know I leave a lot of you guys every week hanging on the phone lines. You know, some of you guys call up and you want to get through, and then we go off the air because I try to get you guys out of here. 9 o'clock in time for ECW, at least on the live Tuesday night show. So I leave a lot of you guys hanging on. I apologize for that. And tonight, I'm going to try to take a lot more calls than we normally do here in hour number 2. So with that being said, we got to keep moving. Monday Night Raw from last night, Jose. Overall, I thought another great show coming off No Way Out. On Sunday night, they delivered with a solid Monday Night Raw effort last night. What do you think, man? Top to bottom, I guess I'll give this one an A minus. Maybe a B plus or an A minus would be my school letter grade. What do you got for me, man?
I mean, I personally, I like the developments on what they're doing with the women's title. They ended a storyline between Knox and Mysterio. They ended the storyline in a sense and opened a new one between Shane and Orton. The JBL storyline, a quick squash match between Noble and Ken. I mean, overall, I gave it a little rundown and little. Absolutely, it's just a little.
Last night it wasn't a kiddie promo. It wasn't the typical Cena, 10-year-old promo. He was more serious. At the end where he was like, someday, sometime, I'm gonna get you or something. I mean, that was a little bit over the top, but. Basically, the entire point of the opening 17 minutes, I believe it was, segment of Raw, was to set up possibly Cena versus Edge. I don't know if you're going to be able to continue that 7 weeks into WrestleMania. I think they may wind up doing that before Mania 25, Cena Edge. But, we're going to talk about some stuff down there. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with WrestleMania right now. And a lot of it, to be honest with you guys, depends on Mickey Rourke and what happens at the Oscars on Sunday. We'll talk about all that in a little bit because I don't want to get sidetracked from Raw here. But there's a lot of changes going on in WrestleMania. So anyway, Cena Edge. We now have a Cena Edge storyline ongoing. Cena's at the SmackDown tapings today. I'll try to get you guys. It actually hasn't started yet. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you guys live spoilers because it's on the West Coast. West Side. It's over there, so I don't know if before we go off the air if I'll be able to have it. And maybe we'll see. I'll check my email before we go off the air. So, anyways, we have Cena Edge seen us at the SmackDown tapings. Expect them to do something later tonight. Next match on Raw, Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes, and William Regal in a six-man tag team match defeated the team of CM Punk and Crime Time.
Yo.
Brooklyn.
Crime Time. I like them.
Yeah, they're all right, but it's like one of those acts that could be overdone, you know? I mean, Crime Time, from time to time, is okay, but Crime Time all the time is not okay. You like that? No, I could be a rapper.
Wow,
West Side.
All right, let's not go too far. But you know why they're there? Because they're there to make their money.
Yeah. Money.
Yeah. So that's. It was a filler match. We all know that. I mean, in the last 3 weeks, all these participants, all six men, have been either wrestling singles, tag team, in this case, obviously. And it's funny because you sit here and you say to yourself, how much far advance? And this is where I come in, where I guess the wrestling smart comes in out of me. You sit there and you say to yourself, how long have the creative department designed these feuds? Because if you look at it, in the last 3 weeks, we started off with singles, and then, CM Punk and William Regal 3 weeks ago, a single match, I believe, with, I think it was Cody and one of the other guys from Crime Time, and then you have a double tag between Crime Time last week and Cody and DiBiase, and now this week you had now a six-man tag. So it kind of gives you an idea of how they're writing the storylines. I mean, have they created a storyline 4 weeks ago, saying, all right, in 3 weeks, these now will find, these six men will fight in a six-man tag. It's just a little bit of an insight of how creative kind of works and develops these little storylines.
And not only that, but you took two separate angles right there in Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes versus Crime Time, right? You've had that over the past couple weeks. And then you've had William Regal versus CM Punk. I think we've seen that match 4 times on Raw and maybe once on a pay-per-view over the last few weeks. So you took two different feuds, right, a singles feud and a tag team feud, and then combined the two into a six-man tag match and had that on Raw last night. So, like you were saying, I mean, as far as creative works, that's kind of the philosophy behind, the thinking,
Exactly, and it just shows you that they're developing storylines with a long-term goal, but they will change things up on the fly. Obviously, No Way Out is not the perfect example. I don't think anyone from the Observers to the PWIs came even close to say, oh, yeah, we heard there's a big change. It goes to show you.
It comes with, if you guys only knew, if everybody listening to this show only knew how many times creative plans change in a week's time. Back and forth, it ended with Jericho slapping Piper. Piper dropped to the ground. Basically, we'll talk about this. I got logged out of the chat again, man. I'm trying to get back in. Basically, what's going to happen over the next couple... I'm going to save this for the WrestleMania talk that we get into. It looks like legends are going to be coming in week after week here, leading up to WrestleMania. And then looks like it's either going to be Jericho versus Mickey Rourke, or possibly Jericho versus Hogan, who they sent feelers to over the last few weeks, from what I've been told. So we'll save all of that for hour number 2 when we get into news and when we start talking about WrestleMania and what things look like right now. Here's a filler match for you. Jose Kane defeated Jamie Noble on Monday Night Raw. Yeah.
At least he lasted 16 seconons.
See, I didn't understand it because they put over the 9-second thing. I thought they were going to beat it. I thought they were going to have Jamie get beaten like 8 seconds, and then they came up with, 16 seconds or something? I don't know.
That's what Jerry Lawler said. 16 seconds he lasted, actually.
Wouldn't it have made sense, though? Wouldn't it have made sense to have Jamie beat the time?
Yeah, It would have. I mean, it was kind of hard to understand what was the whole reason behind that.
Yeah, I didn't get it unless they wanted to beat the time. No, because they were. I mean, that was like a 7-second difference. So I mean, they would have had to bot something pretty bad to be off by 7 seconds. So I don't know. I didn't understand it. You know, whatever. Well, I guess we'll see next week where it leads. But nonetheless, Jamie Noble got beat in, like Jose said, 16 seconds. And then we have an in-ring segment, right, with JBL. Came out, called out HBK. Sean came out and cut a great promo. The gist of the storyline is that Michaels is all happy. He's a free man now. He can do whatever he wants. And both of them want The Undertaker. JBL said that he was done with Michaels. He wanted to go on and face Taker at WrestleMania, biggest stage of them all. Shawn Michaels came out and says, hey, I'm the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. I think a bigger match would be Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So they set up a match next week. It's going to be JBL versus Shawn Michaels one more time, a rematch from No Way Out. And the winner of that match is going to go on to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. We've had it up on the website the last couple of weeks, guys. It looks like Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker is pretty much a lock for WrestleMania, unless my boy Jose here has heard otherwise.
I have not, and just touch back again with Shawn Michaels. If you look at Shawn in the last couple of weeks while he's within this storyline, you can tell he was kind of held back, and he did a great job playing that role. I mean, yesterday you were just getting ready to have him just say, all right, well, when is he going to do the chop block, or when is he going to say suck it? Because you can just see the happiness that just the vibe that comes from him when he's coming to ringside, and he did it. I mean, that to me it says he did an excellent job playing the role for this angle to get this angle over. And to me, I'd look forward for a Shawn Michaels. I mean, definitely not a JBL on Undertaker, because that's when I'll get up and go to the stand or something like that, or go for a walk, because I can care less about those. I mean, those two, we just know already. That's a predictable match, but having a Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, is Shawn going to defeat him? There's just so much storyline play. And more importantly, again, 7 weeks away from WrestleMania, I would like to see an Undertaker show up on Raw. I would like to see Shawn Michaels show up on SmackDown. Now you have two big superstars going across each other on two different shows. Having JBL on SmackDown doesn't really mean much.
Listen, that's another thing, is now we have two titles over on SmackDown, right? This allows for, in the coming weeks, right, this allows Triple H, who's now going to be involved on Raw during, with the McMahon angle, but this allows Triple H to be on Raw and also on SmackDown. This allows Edge to be on Raw and also on SmackDown. So we have two separate brands here, but keep in mind that these guys, there's going to be a lot of cross-promotion here going in the next 7 weeks going into WrestleMania. And those title changes at No Way Out, I know we're talking about Shawn and The Undertaker right now, but the title changes, and even with this storyline with The Undertaker and Shawn, it's going to allow these guys to appear on both shows. I don't know about Shawn going over to SmackDown, as Tuesday is a religious day for him, so he doesn't necessarily like to work on the Tuesday tapings. But The Undertaker on Raw, it would allow for him to come over, and going into WrestleMania, you'd have lots of cross promotion, which is a good thing, of course.
And usually you get that
earlier in the night. Shane came out first, Randy came out next, and Shane went right on the attack. They fought throughout the arena, and at some point, Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes came down, and Randy Orton went for the head kick. The same thing that he did to Vince and numerous other legends over the past year or two. Shane was out cold. Stephanie then ran down. She was screaming, oh, why did you do this? This is whatever.
Pretty good.
And not bad. No, it sucked. It was horrible, to be honest with you, but whatever.
A little bit.
Stephanie,
trying to be nice.
Stephanie got up, right? Stephanie got up and Orton hit an RKO. And she was out. So then, and we had reported that Triple H was backstage at Raw, right? So we knew that Triple H was going to run out. And I love the ending segment, but I was waiting. Maybe it's just me, and you tell me how you feel about this, but I was waiting for Triple H's music to hit. I wanted the music to hit, and then I wanted him to run down. The rundown with no music, just something missing.
You know, it's funny because you're right. I was kind of expecting his music to hit, and then when I didn't hear the music hit, and then I saw the time, and then I heard the fans go up, I guess they wanted to build it more as reality. You know, the music hit, Triple H is coming down, and, you'll pop and everyone will go crazy. And I think that would have been a lot more louder pop than him just running to the ring and just turning red and shaking all over the place. But I think they wanted to use the reality angle behind it and said, he just got there, he's running down the ring, there's no theme music, we don't want to hear no theme music, he's there to rescue his wife, Stephanie, and his brother-in-law, Shane, and just play that type of reality role, which I got over it. I mean, it was pretty cool.
No, I got over it too, and that makes perfect sense. What you just said with the reality factor, because they did a backstage segment earlier where Steph said something like, "How long before you're here? When are you going to be here?" or something along those lines. So to have him run out with no music, the reality of it. I mean, as far as the angle was concerned, without the music or not, it was a great angle to end a really good Raw, man. I mean, like we said, when we talked about the fillers with Mysterio, the Knoxes, the Divas match, the Kanes, the Jamie Nobles.
We need those matches, though. We need those matches to fill in. Yeah. If you have 5-star matches every single match, the main event would just become stale. It just becomes like, it was good, but Rey Mysterio and Mike Knox was a 5-star match. You got to have those unfortunate, fillers to fill in to get these things over.
Jose, my brother, that was a good hour number one. It's 8 o'clock. We're going to come back here for hour number two and run down some news, take live phone calls as well. We got No Way Out and Raw out of the way. A couple chat shout-outs here. I see Ultimate Fanatic in the chat. Codebreaker's in there. Ryan's aunt is in there. Joe Pineda, 06 is in there. Lizzie is in there. Donald Long. Who you got, Jose? Help me out, man.
Lil Wayne over there. I mean, he's done an excellent job. Shout out to Lil Wayne because he's been helping me out with WrestleCommunity.com. Liz, another one that's coming in from WrestleCommunity.com. And, obviously we don't do shout-outs to the guests.
I know, no good. I got Big Jim, NWO, Y2J62, and Derek O. I know they're in there every week, guys that I recognize here on WZR Radio. Super KO is in there. Lots of guests, all you guests in there. You guys should. Yuri D's in there. I think he writes columns here for the website WZROnline.com. Simply Lost. Lots and lots of people. If I missed you here, guys, I got to go to the break, but I will come back for hour number two. Jose will be here with me, and we'll do more
chat shout-outs. I promise.
With a better phone, we'll do chat shout-outs here in hour number two. We'll take your live phone calls and run down lots of news as well. So you're listening to WZR Radio with Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera. We'll be back right after this.
Hit the music.
And we're back. WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com and a bunch of other websites. I'm Ryan Clark. He's Jose Rivera. And we're going to be here for the next 1 hour finishing this shindig that we like to call WZR Radio Out, leading you guys into ACW here at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock Eastern Time if you guys are listening to the Tuesday night live broadcast of this radio show. Jose, you ready to get to some news here?
Let's start it off. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, you switched it up, man. You're on the old house phone now, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize for the unfortunate cell phone reception, but I'm home and I'm on the phone.
We're good, man. It was only at the beginning of the show, and then there were a couple points to it. It wasn't that bad. So we're all set. Plus, I still got my sexy voice. Kind of like it, man. It's a way to get younger guys on television, not to the 3.5, 3.6 rating that you get on Raw, or the 2.6, 2.7 that you get on SmackDown, but to a 1.3 or a 1.4, you know? A way to start out, kind of like a developmental league with a TV deal.
And it's a smart move because they've used ECW as a stepping stone. CM Punk, Kofi, or just to name two that have debuted on ECW and built around those stars. And same thing. What's going on here is they're being exposed. It's a little bit less pressure for those young guys as well. They're not being viewed by 4 million people, maybe 2 million people, half of what you see on Raw or SmackDown. I'm an ECW fan. I've always liked the ECW concept when, obviously I like the original one, but the watered down version, WWE version, I like it is just because of that. They can go ahead and throw these young guys out there and see which ones get over and which ones don't. And
an example of that is like Evan Bourne. He's a guy that, granted his finishing move, which guys, Paul London used to use it. Billy Kidman was like the originator of the shooting star press. But that move, it's funny how kind of, even one move. His Matt Sydal is who Evan Bourne is. A lot of you guys probably know him from Ring of Honor or the indie promotions if you guys follow that stuff. But, he's a great talent in the ring. And then you give him that finishing move, and he's a classic example of what you're talking about, is a guy that's been able to get over, in ECW.
And it's a smart move because you think about it. You think if we didn't have ECW, you think he would have gone over on Raw or SmackDown? He probably
not, no.
He would have been a jobber. He would have been a guy that would have been out there and put on some good matches. But this talent wouldn't come through because they would probably align him with a Kane or a Mike Knox.
And then you've got some of your, you've got your Mark Henrys over there. You've got Christian over there now.
Yeah,
you've got some bigger stars over there that these guys can come in and work with, and try to build a name for themselves. So I agree completely. It's nice to see, it's nice to see new guys getting a chance to shine and not just coming in smaller guys and getting buried, like you just said. If they went to Raw or SmackDown, they'd be buried, really, really quickly.
They would have been, it would have not been even, they probably would have just, jobbers and that's it. And I think it just exhibits as the ECW concept and the commentary is a lot better. That's just the whole entire concept behind ECW, is to be a little bit different, but you're always going to have that WWE taste.
And you just, commentary too. Matt Stryker and Todd Grisham are two guys that, Stryker is really, really good. I
knew it. Since day one I saw him and the way that he worked the mic, and Kennedy's as well. He's another guy that's really good behind the mic. I see though, especially Stryker, is just his commentary. Not only he develops the moves, explains the moves, but he also touches. He almost has kind of like a Mike Tenay, a Jim Ross type of.
You know what it is? It's good on the fly. It's being good on the fly, being able to see stuff and call it right then and there. And he does his history too, man. You can tell that this guy goes out and whatever arena they're in. He'll do a history check on that arena. And, when guys have gotten their last ring in that city or in that arena, and you can tell that he really studies the product before he goes out there.
And it's clear as day. And that's one of the reasons why, is putting Mike Stryker, in there is just, that's, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan as well. Hey, let's move on here. Steve Austin. What? He, let me say this. Let me just say this, and this is all I know about it. This is all, this report came from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. He reported in a recent newsletter, I believe it was last week's newsletter, Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I thought you were going to do it, man. I thought you caught you sleeping,
I
man.
was grabbing some water, so you threw me off a little bit.
All right. Stone Cold. All right, let's try. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
Is booked to appear at the Raw tapings next week in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't have anything more on that. The report also claims that he's scheduled for Raw on March 16th as well, and that Raw will take place from San Antonio. Whether plans have changed on that or not, I am not sure, and I don't have any more information on that. But it's possible, according to Dave Meltzer, that he will be on Raw next week in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, they are doing a storyline with Jericho and Legends, and I'm told that they're going to continue to bring Legends in week after week, all right? And whether they want to hold Austin off and have him be like the last guy that comes in and deals with Jericho and maybe bring in other legends before that. Do you get my drift here? You'd bring in guys like the Honky Tonk Man, you have Piper, the Honky Tonk Man, guys that are on good standing with WWE. You'd bring them in, and then you'd cap it all off with Austin as we get closer to WrestleMania. So maybe Steve Austin on Raw next week has maybe been changed, but as of the last word, according to Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Steve Austin was booked to appear at next week's Raw that's upcoming. He's already going to be in great shape come WrestleMania, you know? So, I mean, I wouldn't completely rule it out, you know?
I mean, I think realistically, if you come to me and say, hey, you think Austin is really going to wrestle at WrestleMania, I'm a little bit hesitant to say, yeah, he's coming back, he's going to wrestle, regardless how many people tell me otherwise. It's just because of that, exactly the mentality that Austin has. If he's not 100%, he is not going to step inside that ring and to put on a show, which then leaves us to say, okay, so then who is fighting Jericho? I mean, we got 7 weeks, and we got these legends, and I'm sure the WWE has an idea, and I know Mickey's name has been floating around. It's just going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting in the next 2 or 3 weeks to where that storyline. See, this is what I like about WrestleMania. You know, you got Taker and Shawn, you got Orton and Ace.
Hey, you know what? Wait. Let's save this, because you know what? I got a couple, because I still want to take live phone calls, and we're going to do a big WrestleMania talk here in just a couple of minutes. I got a couple things in between, and then we'll go to wrestling, and we'll really talk about it, and we'll run it down top to bottom, because I want to talk about Austin Jericho a little bit more, and everybody else. Let's just run a couple quick things, and then we'll get right back into wrestling. Is that cool?
No, perfect.
All right, no doubt. All right, there's been like an online feud. I'm just going to talk about this real quick, just a couple tidbits here. An online feud brewing between Matt Hardy and Paul London. Basically, there's been comments back and forth. It all started, Paul London did a recent radio interview where he said, all I remember in WWE is that I hated Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy came out, blasted him, called him a psychopath, called him pathetic, this and that. Paul London never came back and responded. This is what I've heard, and I heard this through an email once again on Sunday from the same source. They both used to date Ashley Mazzaro, who I said it last week, you know, I don't like to bring in drugs. Okay, drugs, Jose, all right? But last week, man, I mean, some of Ashley's own friends on her MySpace page have left her comments where they have even said, hey, we've been out and partied with Ashley, and she's a cokehead, and she was so high on pot that she was stumbling over herself, this and that. And these are her own friends, and she's been forced to delete some of these comments and this and that. So it's going back and forth. But I believe it has something to do with Ashley. One of her friends posted this long blog on her MySpace where she said that one night Ashley got all high and drunk and went out, and she was with London at the time, or she was with Hardy at the time, and she went out and messed around with Paul London, and it got into a whole thing. Hardy and Ashley broke up because of that, apparently, and then Paul London and Ashley started dating after that. You know how things get, and boy,
mamas, fathers, roommates, and
you would
this
think
and that.
You would think Hardy seems like, but when I read these blogs, Hardy comes off to me like a dumb high school kid. Just really dumb. It's like, shut up, dude. You would think that, I mean, okay, the guy, what happened to him the last time he brought like a love affair type thing online, the whole Lita thing and this and that, and then he got fired and then he got his job back, and it's like, dude, I get no one cares about your public business, and he just, by writing these, "Oh, you're a psychopath, thanks for putting me over," he sounds like, you guys have read the blogs, they're up on the website, WZROnline.com if you ever, he sounds like just such a kid. Have you read him? Have you read the blog?
Honestly, I wouldn't even bother. I know a little bit on what you're talking about. It's just to me, I can care less. It's what I hear. What you're telling me now is you're right. I mean, but Matt, that's how Matt Hardy is. He's always had that little immature attitude, and then he gets really caught up in the business on working on angles and the way he comes off and explains current situations. I mean,
immature attitude. Immature attitude, what you just said, that's it, man. I mean, that's the word that describes him. It's just really immature, dude, and you can tell in these blogs that he writes. It's I don't know. I don't know.
The whole Lita stuff was just that. Yeah. To me, that was more than enough to know. Honestly, I can care less if, she wants to do drugs, not Lita, but, Ashley wants to do drugs.
That's her own,
to each their own. I can care less. It don't involve me. So that's kind of like how I look at it in that respect.
All right, no doubt. What else? Moving on. Matt Morgan, it was reported by Jason Powell, ProWrestling.net, that Robert Roode and TNA have officially signed a new deal. And I don't know if they signed it, but it's definitely been confirmed that he will be signing it in the next few weeks here. But it was reached last week at the Impact taping. So Robert Roode's going to be with TNA. That's not kind of big news because WWE had shown interest in him. He had the size, and really, I mean, with the new gimmick in TNA, he's really gotten himself over as of late with Beer Money Inc. What else? No divas in Playboy this year. Several readers of the website, I actually got a couple emails from fans that subscribe to Playboy. Jose?
No comment.
Subscribe to... All right. No comment. But anyway, they got March's preview, and usually they do a mention of, a diva that's going to appear in the next episode in April, and there's no mention this year, so it looks like due to the PG programming, and I can tell you guys now officially that bra and panties matches at WWE, they are officially no more. No more bra and panties matches in WWE, so it looks like with that, Playboy, looks like that whole thing's off. But Lacey Von Erich is going to pose for Playboy, and, I believe she had something last Thursday. I don't know much more about it other than that. One more thing before we get into WrestleMania talk. Ric Flair.
They really want a kitty root. Can you guys explain that to me? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think the kitty thing has to do more of mainly based around advertisers for one thing, and another thing is they're going. A PJ. I mean, Jose, what do you think? I don't think it's because of the Benoit thing. I mean, they're actually starting to put Benoit back. They're actually starting to put Benoit back on the WWE website in photos. They aren't really editing him out. I think the PG thing is more to do with advertisers. Do you agree, man?
It has to do with the advertisement, but the reality is there were a lot of injuries going on when the Attitude Era was coming about. A lot more chances, a lot more high risks, and a lot of injuries. And you've noticed maybe in the last 6 months to 8 months when they've switched over to a little bit more of a PG-style wrestling, there's a lot less injuries. When they lost Edge for his neck injury, when they lost Hurricane for a neck injury, these things were all kind of wrestling related in the past, and the way they were taking bumps. So they decided to kind of cut down on that, and then one of the reasons why they wanted to cut down on that is to, of course, do the PG. And to be honest with you, too, is Linda McMahon's position as well as the board of, doing the Board of Education. She's gotten a lot of heat based on the past experiences, the way that WWE has been promoting themselves. So there's a lot of tie-in, and when you look at WWE, there's a lot of personality between, for the McMahons. So if the McMahons want to kind of tone it down, they're going to tone it down.
Callie, you are live on WZR Radio. What's up, man?
You're a psychic, man. What's up? I have a lot of questions, but I'm just going to put it down to two.
Okay.
First off, you know how like on just about every wrestling promotion, not IWA, but other promotions, I'll say what, TNA, WWE, all the Stone Cold Steve Austin, what? Do you think that they'll let him do it one more time when he comes back? Do the what? He'll come in the ring, and Vince is like, what are you doing here, damn it? What? Something like that.
I think it depends on if the fans do it, they have to go along with it. You can't really control it. So if the fans start doing it, they're going to have to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. And one more quick question. Now, you said WWE, Mark, but I like the pay-per-view myself, the No Way. I thought it was unbelievable. Do you think, I'm pretty sure TNA seen it also, and do you think when they see the pay-per-view, does that make them want to maybe try to outdo them, like give them confidence that we can do better than that on their next pay-per-views when they see with WWE broadcast? Don't they try to outdo them, you think, so that gives them something to want to do, in wrestling, outdo their competitors?
They look at each other's angles, WWE and TNA. I don't want to say they rip each other off, but there are angles that are used, at points, angles that you've seen done in TNA are sometimes done in WWE as well. I mean, you see that, Jose, right? I mean, I don't know if they...
it's good.
No, TNA knows that they're a smaller company, and they're never, not right now at least. I'm sure in the future they eventually want to try to compete with WWE ratings-wise and buy rates, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, obviously. Actually, TNA buy rates are at an all-time low right now. I'm going to give you guys some numbers next week. I don't have time tonight, but something like 10,000, 15,000 for some of these pay-per-views, and against all odds, it's even below that, I believe. So TNA knows that they're smaller, but as far as TNA trying to outdo WWE, I don't really think so. I think TNA kind of does their own thing. TNA has their own creative, but yeah, they do look at each other's angles and tweak things, and you'll see similar things. Do you agree with that, Jose?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And to add on to that, I personally think if TNA decides to look at the pay-per-view and learn, and I think that's the big word, is learn the way that they produce their show and the angles they produce their show, and kind of adapt it to it. It's not going to say that, in 2 weeks we're going to see an X Division match in a cage because they just saw it a couple of weeks ago at the Elimination Chamber. I don't think they're going to carbon copy in that respect, but they would probably, I would sit there and think that they would learn some of the bookings that they do in the WWE.
Guest 355 from the chat room. You're live on WZR Radio. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, just one quick question, Ryan.
Sure.
Now, I heard rumors about a possible Hulk Hogan versus John Cena match at WrestleMania. Now, if that is the case, how do you see that playing out, like a heel turn for Cena, or how do you see that happening?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Thanks. Go register your username, man. Guest 355, I believe. Register it, man. But as far as
come to me a surprise. In 2 weeks, we see Mickey on Monday Night Raw, and then that's probably what we're going to end up seeing.
Exactly, and that's my feelings, and that's WWE feelings as well, as Vince is going to make him a major offer to come in and do WrestleMania, and I think it'll be enough where after the Oscars are over and Mickey has nothing to worry about, I can tell you guys, his agents had a big part in him saying, I'm not doing I'm not doing a match. His agents played a major, major role in talking him out of that match. After the Oscars,
at least the public eyes, they want to say he ain't doing it.
Yeah, and after the Oscars, whatever. All the award shows are over. You just had, you've a couple. One just a couple weeks ago, and then one overseas. All your big award shows are over. The guy can go and do whatever he wants, but he's got the awards. You know what I mean? Jericho, I've been unmuted for 5 minutes. What's up, baby doll? You are live on WZR Radio. What's going on, man?
I just have a quick question. You posted up on the news, really small thing. It said, Kurt Angle was signing autographs at the FYE, and I didn't catch the address, and I couldn't find the news. Do you remember what that was?
I get so many press releases with autograph. It was an FYE in where?
In Philadelphia.
In Philly. I'll do some checking. Actually, you know what? You're a diehard. I'll do some checking for you. Give me an email, webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com after the show. And I'll get back to you by later tonight, and I'll find it for you.
All right, thanks, dude.
All right, buddy. All right, we'll continue to take live phone calls. Let's take another one here. Screw it, why not, right? And then we'll talk about WrestleMania a little bit more. Some of the confirmed matches. You know what I mean? 3 of them are basically confirmed. Guest number 356. These guys got to get registered. But anyways, you're live on WZR Radio. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, as a WrestleMania ticket holder, I'd love to see Gail Kim. Do you have any news about Gail Kim?
I haven't heard anything, man. All I know is that she's backstage at SmackDown every week. Every single week she's at the TV tapings just waiting to be used. She goes out with the guys after, gets something to eat with them. There's been pictures of I really don't know, man. I don't know. I believe at this point, with only 7 weeks till WrestleMania, I'd say that they would hold her return off until after that. But I really don't know, man. She's there every week. She's at SmackDown every week, and I don't know what's up, man.
It's funny because I know the plan originally was to align her with the Divas champion. But then she went down, and I think that's probably where they had to change the storylines and hold her off. So once Marissa gets the green light to wrestle full time again, then I think that's probably when you'll see Gail Kim return back. But I think that's what I heard. The original idea was to align those two together, but her injury kind of backed out on the storyline.
Guys, we have a couple open phone lines right now. You can give us a call at 724-444-7444. Call ID number is 30273, followed by the pound key. You can get all that information at WZROnline.com /chat. Get on over there, and all the info is at the bottom of the chat. Give out the number one more time, 724-444-7444. Call ID number 30273, followed by the pound key. Jose, man, we've got about 15 minutes left here on WZR Radio. Another Tuesday night, solid Tuesday night. Come on here, tear down the house for 2 hours, and then go watch some ECW. Huh?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I actually got to work out after this.
Working out, huh?
I like to work out late, go downstairs and blast the radio as loud as I can so my neighbors complain.
Dude, if I could get, I'm only 170 pounds. I'm about 6 foot, 170 pounds. But I don't know if I could do more than 10 push-ups. Or, you know what I'm saying?
I do 10 in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, right. We try to
play a lot of softball. I got to get the season starts in 2 months.
That's true. Springtime coming up, man. See, we're getting an ice storm tomorrow, so I'm not even thinking about spring yet, but nonetheless. All right, hey, WrestleMania, man. We know. All right, here's the matches that we know are going to happen. 3 of them, right? We know that after last night, we're going to have Triple H versus Randy Orton. That'll be for the WWE title, right? So that'll keep Triple H on Raw week after week with a title belt, so Raw won't be without anything. They'll have the WWE title. So we can agree, right? Triple H, Randy Orton. That's confirmed.
I would say so.
All right, and then We can confirm this next one. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. I mean, Shawn over JBL next week in their match on Raw. And then Shawn versus Taker, right?